This is the Brasileiro podcast, and today we're going to talk about the roster for the friendly match against South Africa on March 5th. I'll read it off before I get to my complaints. Jefferson, Julio Cesar, Dani Alves, Thiago Silva, David Luiz, Marcelo, Dante, Rafinha, Fernandinho, Willian, Oscar, Ramirez, Luis Gustavo, Paulino, Bernard, Fred, Neymar, Hulk, and Joe. And I was actually really disappointed. I know I've been telling you guys to be calm and trust in Philly Powell and just put your trust in him a little and realize it's coming along good. And I know he knows a lot about the game, but sometimes he leaves me scratching my head. And the thing that offended me most about this roster is Julio Cesar. And I know he wanted to keep the roster small, but he could have brought in 23 players. So he chose to only go with 2 goalies. And one of these goalies hasn't played first team football all year, and he's just transferred to the MLS. And I don't mean to bash the MLS here. It's not what I'm trying to do. But is Julio Cesar really interested in playing football? Is he really interested in being great? Does he really care if he starts for the South Sound? I don't think so, because he turned down lots of offers from teams in Europe who are going to pay him a lot of money. But he wants more and more money, and I think this move to the MLS is all greed. And I really think he could have moved away from QPR sooner if it wasn't for his own greed. And I don't know if you want him on this team and you want to put all your chips in his basket, so to speak, if he's not fully committed to the cause. And I'm not saying he doesn't want to represent Brazil at the World Cup. I'm just saying he should give up some money and play for a real club if he really is serious about it. It is borderline disgusting an MLS player is going to be representing Brazil on the biggest stage in football. Come on, man. Come on. And then the second thing that's bothering me is Joe. He hasn't had a good season with Atletico Mineiro. It just hasn't been a good season. And I don't know why people keep sugarcoating it. They say, oh, well, he had a great Libertadores. Well, what did he do in the Brazil around last year? He did nothing. He was terrible. I don't even think he's the best striker in Brazil right now. In the League of Brazil, I don't think he's even close to that. Of course, Fred's better than him. And I would even take guys like Hernani and Walter over him at this point. Joe, he really is a liability for the squad, and I don't think you can put any trust in him if you were to put him into a game. I know he scored a few poaching goals in the Confederations Cup, but that isn't enough. I think that's a really bad choice by Philly Pound. I think it's because Philly Pound's comfortable with Joe, but he really needs to try some new blood to this team. That's pretty bad. But one thing I'm actually happy with is Fernandinho is included in the squad. I've been advocating for him to be in this squad since Mano took over. He has been that good outside when he played in Ukraine. He's been that good with Manchester City. And I really think he's a guy who can give us some great pop off the bench. And if we need to change something halfway through the game, he'll be a great guy to come off the bench. And that's about all I have to say about this roster. It's what we expected. But like I said, the Jo and Julio Cesar thing are kind of rubbing me the wrong way. Let's hope Fernandinho has a great game and shows us what he can do against South Africa.